Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, traders from across the globe, and welcome to the 1347th edition of Short-Term Trading Live with Oscar Carboni, and of course that would be me. Good evening, traders. This video is coming to you early on a Thursday afternoon for trading on Friday, July 24th, 2015. Almost said 2014. 2015. As we know, before we get started, if you don't know this, you need to know or be reminded futures trading is extremely risky, causes substantial financial loss, is certainly not suitable for all traders. If you do not know this game, if you don't have risk capital to burn, and if you don't know that a stop is absolutely your best friend in this insane volatility, you shouldn't be trading. For you cowboys that understand the risks, bing, 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 let's get moving. You know how this works, right? We can do a hat dance here. It's been insanity. All right. The last time I came out before you in front of this camera, I did a video called Ego versus Technical Analysis. Remember it? And I showed you a few charts, and in those charts I said if we just leave our egos out and read the charts the way they should be read, that technical analysis will prove to you that a chart is merely just a visual look at all of the fundamental news and traders' reaction to such. We know that's what a chart is, and I told you I can prove that to you. So in my last video, I showed you crude oil, I showed you gold, I showed you the S&P, I showed you the NASDAQ, and I said we've got certain projections off of these things. Let me show you how technical analysis works. We have gotten everything we were looking for since that last video, and let me show you what's going on. This video tonight is called Some Old, Some New, but one thing is for sure. Technical analysis is true blue, baby. There is no other way that you can come up with a roadmap to what's coming next in these markets if you do not use the charts, and I will show you in just a moment or two what I am speaking about. Remember, I showed you a crude oil chart, I gave you exact projections, I showed you a gold chart with a whole downward movement we expected, and I showed you a wacky pattern in the S&P and that it should rally all the way up and we should get new highs. I will show you all of that, some old, some new as far as the charts are concerned, but I will show you for sure that technical analysis is true blue. If you like the analysis that you see in these videos, if you like what you are about to see next, come on down to livewithoscar.com, click the OmniCamp banner. Actually, it's up here. Click the OmniCamp banner. Fill it out, OmniCamp. It's a 4-day live session held here in Las Vegas. I've got 2 seats open for the September class. It's September 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th. It's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. If you would like to learn how to call Oscar's Market Navigational Indicator, the Omni, for yourselves, come to my site, Live with Oscar, click the OmniCamp banner, and I will teach you how to read charts like you are about to see right now. With no further ado, let's go look at some charts.
My name is Sam Kelly. I'm coming from Ibiza, Spain. And I came to OmniCamp because a good friend of mine told me Oscar Carboni is the man about trading. I expected nothing because I didn't know who Oscar Carboni was. So I read something on the internet and I closed it. And I said, okay, first I want to do the OmniCamp, and then afterwards I make my opinion about it. And it was much more than I could imagine. After this OmniCamp, you become a real trader. There's so much inside information in his whole life, his experience. Yeah, you cannot think about it. It's amazing. What he says, it really works. So I'm going home tomorrow, and I'm so excited. So in about 24 hours, I'm back home, and then I'll start trading right away. I definitely recommend people to come to OmniCamp. Because you become a real trader. I told you before, he's no bullshit, man. What he tells you, it works. It's real time. There's no stories, no fixed charged. Everybody is real time chart, and what he tells you, it works. It's very simple, but yeah, it's crazy.
Traders, crude oil. I put this chart before your eyes in the last video I did standing in front of a camera, and I said, OMNIX, this is a great specimen of a flag, and the projections off of that flag are 50, 70, and then 48, 90, and this is what it looked like when I gave you that projection and wanted to prove to you that technical analysis beats out any other form of trading, especially ego trading, and here is where it was. And this is what happened. I mean, pull that in and look at it. Oh my God. That's where it was. And look right to the projected areas. That I gave you before we even came out of the flag. That is fantastic analysis. Next, remember the wacky pattern? I told you I had this pattern all pegged and we should go all the way up to number 8, right? All the way up there. I gave you the pattern here. The market has gone up. This is where it was when we spotted that pattern. And remember, most of the street was absolutely bearish down here. Everybody was calling for the big crack. Greece was going, the wheels were flying off in Greece. You had China's market dropping. We got here. I found this formation, called for a rally. Here's where it was. And this is what happened. I mean, oh my God. There is no better roadmap than this. Almost nailed the 8, but it did not get up there. It failed to make new highs, and that's an entirely different video. Over this weekend, I'm going to do a weekend webinar because we did fail to make a new high here, and that's something we need to discuss. This weekend, stay tuned for a weekend webinar. Let's move forward. Now let's go to some daily charts to see what's going to happen over the next few days. This very same chart I put before your eyes in my last video, which I did one of those Camtasia shoots and just showed you my desktop. I showed you an F flag and I said the F flag gets F'd and we head down. That's where it was. And this is what happened. I mean, the F flag did its job. We stayed inside of the F flag. Once it got F'd, it continued down. Now, this is called an outside day, and it settled down here. The high is higher than the previous day's high. The low is lower than the previous day's low. The close is outside of the range completely from the day before. That is an outside day. And an outside day usually tells you that you're going to get follow through. So we're expecting at least another down day in the S&P E-mini. Then you've got the Russell 2000. I showed you this chart. I showed you we were in an F flag, and I showed you the day it got broken right here. Since it got broken, this is what happened right down to here so far. That is pretty good, so moving along on the downside. Then we've got the NASDAQ, and I don't care about one company, Amazon's earnings. Nonsense. That, my friends, is an F flag forming, and we are looking to sell the rallies and expect the F flag to fill in. I don't really see any good news to hold us up right now. We're getting through earnings season. You don't have Aunt Janet Yellen speaking until next week. We probably need to come off until the Fed comes out next week. We'll take it one day at a time. We are starting off the day by selling rallies in NASDAQ. Then there's the gold chart traders. Since we got here, I've been telling you that this thing has to go down. We have been selling it as often as possible at the Omni Trading Academy. Another head fake. And about here was the last time I showed you the chart. Look at what has happened since. If you ask me, see these two long days right here? These days are part of a flag. Now we have a new pennant. And if you ask me, lower still that boy goes. So that's what I'm looking for. Pull your own charts, do your own analysis, and then come on down to livewithoscar.com, and I'll teach you how to read these charts. So, traders, you've seen the charts. You've got my technical argument for why we think we're starting off the day on the downside in NASDAQ, Dow, E-mini, S&P, the usual suspects. I don't care that Amazon had big earnings and people went crazy and bought the NASDAQ. Does it make sense when all the other indices are heading down? At the end of the day, you get earnings, one market goes up, we're going to sell that one too. Stops go in first, though. You know that, right? Just in case we're wrong. Traders, if you like the analysis you've seen, remember, you just seen the OmniCamp commercial, 2 open seats left. I will personally teach this to you, and to be honest, what I'm looking for are novices. I would like a set of traders that knows not much about the markets, that doesn't know much about analysis, but does like to pull up charts and draw some trend lines. If that sounds like you, that's all I want you to know. I will teach you the rest. Let's start you off on your golf swing. on the right foot. If that works for you, again, come to livewithoscar.com, click the OmniCamp banner, and I will call you and qualify you for a seat. That's about it. I'm heading back down to the office to see what's going on. Remember, keep your emotions out of trading. One of the best things you can do to help yourselves with that is say this to yourselves every morning, every afternoon, every evening, and you know what that is. Stops are in! I'm going deaf! Emotions are out! Rock and roll, C-Wall at livewithoscar.com. Futures trading is risky and can cause substantial financial loss. We do not claim or guarantee that you will profit from the information provided.